welcome back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of op-dec Operation Deceit, Blue Honor, my Civil War drama, and the Trailokia trilogy. Today I'm going to talk to you about writer as architect. So my master's degree was in screenwriting, film, specifically, for disclosure, propaganda, the use of film as propaganda, politics, etc. Things within the use of historical and other documents, etc., and just manipulating information, etc., and how that was used, but also how to construct a screenplay. So one thing that I learned about writing in that capacity, which is fantastic because I'm recording this as the Writers Guild is striking. Please just sign on to the contract with them. You make so much money, it's ridiculous, and you build everything off of their intellectual property. Everything. Because the writer is an architect. They literally do the blueprint for the thing that's making you millions of dollars. That's their design, whether they are the director or not. Double so if they're the director. It's disgusting the way that writers are just kind of pushed aside like they're inconsequential. Even in the publishing industry, you see the small percentage that an author is paid for all of that work that they put between the cover, the front and back cover. It's, for a lack of a better term, deplorable. Which is why I'm always saying independent is best. If the industry, the Writers Guild, and Screen Actors Guild, so if they could go independent and get away from these large studios and go towards independent again and get away from all of that, I honestly believe that they would probably be way better off. And I understand, capital that is the problem, isn't it? I see that with authors too. They're striving to be picked up by these big publishers, thinking that this is going to be the answer to their money problems, that they'll be signed and they'll be given a huge signing bonus, and that somehow that will fix it. They'll be famous tomorrow, people will buy tons of their books, forgetting that you have to have it edited before you send it in. You have to go through an agent or manager. You're only going to get paid a small percentage of the profits. So they're going to take approximately 90%. You're going to take 10, and then you're going to pay your agent and manager out of your percentage. And you're expected to have a platform or be able to build one, an effective one, or they're not publishing you again. So you have to make a certain number of book sales. You'll need to do all of your social media. If they tour you, very rare. You'd have to be at least middling territory for them to do that. And it is extremely unlikely. You would have to book a tour yourself. So there's a lot to do yourself, and there's a lot to afford yourself, which I can empathize with the writers working with the movie studios and stuff, collecting that paycheck to survive and working within the system that's been created. It would be really nice to see them say enough is enough. The ones who have made a lot of money say enough is enough. We're going to go create this other thing. And the actors too, and just say, like they are striking. We're not working till this is done. We're not working until you give us a fair shake and stop using us as a cash cow to make billions. And they are making billions. And So many corporations are in that loop, and we need to push back. But writers are the architects of books, commercials, music videos, movies, TV shows, etc. We create the blueprint that builds this work in the end. And it's amazing what we do. You're able to start over here, and just completely flesh this thing out. I mean, you've watched a series before, right? Somebody or a team of somebodies saw that whole thing and put it on paper. That's phenomenal. And pacing and just ideas of how to pace this, like I was speaking on the last episode, I was thinking of taking Trilogia and turning that into a series where I have to think about that script again and looking at it more as a pilot. So taking the material that's in the beginning of this book here in particular and doing it rapidly enough, but clearly enough that people understand what's being said, and interestingly enough. It isn't easy. Being able to do it here, a lot more room, a lot more time. 5 pages. I can't put that 5 pages down as 5 pages into a pilot. No. Try a half a minute to a minute. That's what I've got to work with to explain to you, this is how this world works. And it's like I look at Lord of the Rings, where they have Galadriel doing the narration and talking about the different things and how the rings came into being, etc. And I'm like, oh my God, this is sublime. You also don't want to copy, because by the time you get yours out there, there's going to be 50 other copies of the same thing. So you've got to think, that's wicked. What's something as cool as that, but not the same, that would work for mine? So you're constantly like, and it's crazy. It's like building this thing. And as you know, if you place the wrong piece, the whole thing can come tumbling down. If you don't have the supports in there arranged correctly, the whole thing can come tumbling down. You could have the shell built perfectly and all the supports are in there, but what you fill it up with too in the end isn't quite bringing it. It's kind of drab. You don't have any windows. And now it's dark in there and confusing. It's crazy. And you can spend all day, every day for years studying other scripts. That doesn't mean that the answer for yours is in those. That's another thing. Formulaic scripts. It might get you in the door. Save the Cat has been beneficial to a lot of people. I would love to set it on fire and see it never used again, to be honest with you, because it has created a whole library of these just formulaic pieces. It was like Mad Libs for script. It's such a tragedy, because everybody wants the answer of how do I write a hit script now, quickly. They want to slog to the end. They don't want to build the skill set. They don't want to go through all the rigmarole. They want to just tell me how to do it. I'll do it, and I'll get this sold. Not wrong, but they're circumnavigating that whole process, which would really inform their ability as a writer and architect of film, and give them that longevity that ultimately they're going to want, because you'll see that scriptwriters who abide by that Save the Cat thing may not have longevity. If they're smart and they're just using it to break in and start to network that way, to be heard, to get their name on something that people will be able to go, oh, you did that. Very cool. Let's talk. That's not too bad of a game plan, right? But like I said, with using the Galadriel voiceover, it can only work so many times. Before now, the market is flooded with all of that. We don't want it anymore. You'll hear audiences constantly complain. Everything is the same. It's like they just have rehashed everything and all they're doing is remakes. And, yawn. That's why they're not showing up anymore at theaters. I mean, the studios aren't listening to the audience. You want to make money. You have to get feedback from the audiences. And you need to open up where you're getting that feedback from. You can't keep a closed loop system. They very much have a closed loop system. All they look is ticket sales. So if you're able to market something well and get people to come and buy a ticket, it doesn't mean that they liked it. It means you were able to sell them something and they bought a ticket. I think they should spend a lot more time looking at the receipts, but then looking at something, okay, take something from 2015, say, and the receipts were fantastic. Now go look at your Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb rating. That'll tell you a story. You were able to market, so you want that marketing team. That's what that just told you. And you did something right in it that obviously got their attention, right? So you need to figure out what that is. And then you need to look at what could I have done better. And how you can find that out is actually reading their feedback. And I know some of these people with their feedback are absolutely ridiculous, right? I'll cite the Star Wars fandom. For one, there's a large faction in there who likes to personally attack children. They drove two cast members, to the brink of almost suicide and addiction. And you've heard Carrie Fisher speak about it. I believe it was Kelly Tran as well, who's been abused by these people. And it's devastating and it's ridiculous at the same time. That's not necessary. If you're going to give a legitimate criticism, that's one thing. Like, say, I was really looking forward to this film. They marketed it phenomenally. If they had just followed what they said that they were going to do, instead of, you sold me one thing and then I got this other thing. And this is why I feel that way, not personally attacking actors. That doesn't help anybody. Or going after the woke without understanding what woke is, the historical connotations, cultural connotations, what it means to a certain group of people, etc. Just ignoring all of that and, lambasting that term, appropriating it and misusing it. That doesn't work either. But that's why reviews are really excellent for authors on some level. You can't go back and attack somebody who's given you a negative review. Absolutely not. Don't ever do that. But what you can do is you can take that negative review, look at it, see if there's anything constructive in it. Maybe there isn't for you today. Put it away. Come back to it maybe in a little while and say, there might have been a little something to that, and maybe next time around I could avoid doing X, Y, and Z with something, But people will tell you what they don't like, and you have to listen. And I wish that the studios would listen, but you can see they don't even listen to the people that they hire to make these films. So I don't know how soon they're going to listen to us at all, if ever. Which is why I advocate for let's just break away and make more independent art, and get away from these big conglomerates, because they're not doing anything for anyone but themselves. And I don't think we should be, as authors especially, accepting a less than 10% cut on something that we literally created end to end. When you are the architect on something, you're the architect. Know your value. And it's difficult because kind of like I said in dating, If you won't, there's somebody else who will. So, they're like, well, I'm not going to take you out again because you're not fun enough date. So, took you out, but this one over here, they'll do the thing, And it's like, same thing. If you sell out, you sell out everybody. You set a precedence. So when you accept that less than 10% cut, that sets the precedence for everybody else. It is an absolute tragedy that we have accepted this. And it's an absolute tragedy that we accept that we have to pay the agent fee. They represent us. The publisher should be paying them to find people. There should be talent. They should have talent hunters or whatever, whoever they need to hire and stuff, which are independent of them. They work with agencies and stuff to find them talent, and then they pay them off their percentage, not ours. We're the talent. We're the reason that you're making money. Without this, without my ideas, and without me writing this entire fucking thing, pardon my language, your job wouldn't exist. None of them. There would be no point to typesetting. There would be no editors. There would be nothing. So, writers, please understand your value. Without you, there wouldn't be television and movies. There wouldn't be books. There wouldn't be poetry. There wouldn't be billboards. There wouldn't be instruction manuals. You have value. You are the architect. Demand your price. Do better for yourself. I think across the board, we writers need to, if we can, and again, it's, with the union, it's difficult too. It's like you have to make a certain amount and you have to be able to pay into your dues, etc. And it's expensive. It's expensive. So I understand. Not being in the guild. I have yet to get into the guild to meet that threshold, etc., to be able to be in there. Someday, because I am pro-union and I do want to be part of that. But when you're independent, what's to unionize against? I can't unionize against myself, but I can be out here and advocate and tell you to make sure that you're in a union if you make enough to do so, and to support others who are in them, and to also to not sell out and stuff and accept that less than 10% cut of your work. Your work, what are they doing with it? They expect it edited. They have somebody design the interior. You get to pick from a couple of covers that they have some stock guide put together. I think my covers are way better than shit I've seen on the shelves. Supposedly professionally done. My professional does a very professional job. So I have it edited. I have the interior designed. I have a professional cover designer and proofreader. Those are things that the publishing company will take a cut on, and they're taking way more than what I pay. Way more. That's not cool. Not when you're the architect. Okay. All right. I will see you back here next time. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And check me out on TikTok, where I have my short form videos at Captain Mayo. Thanks.